What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mohawk.Motors. My name is Jason. I finally got caught up on the other stuff I have going on around here. I really want to try to get this thing started up today. I'm going to button up the odds and ends that aren't ready yet. I need to get the heater hoses run, the steam port run, get that all filled up with antifreeze, and then make a couple last little electrical connections, and then I should be able to start this thing up. Fingers crossed, and let's see if we can get this thing done. Okay, everybody, I'm getting close. I've got cooling system plumbed, connected, filled with antifreeze. I've got the fuel system plumbed, connected. Oh, I need to put some fuel in the tank. I'll have to remember that before I try this off here. I've got my main powers connected, one running to the starter, one running over to the power distribution center. And I've got my main grounds connected, but haven't yet connected the grounds to the battery. First thing I want to try to do is see if I can get fuel pressure up there at my fuel pressure regulator. Once I see fuel pressure, I will hit the key, see if the engine will actually crank over off the key. I can't think of any reason why it shouldn't. It should. And then after that, I need to connect my couple main power feeds and my couple ignition power feeds to the PCM, and then I should be able to get this thing started. I'm getting really, really close. I don't see any smoke, I don't hear any weird noises, and it actually just occurred to me the fuel pump is controlled by the PCM, and the PCM is not powered up. So the fuel pump's not going to run. I need to connect my PCM powers and grounds first. Gotta think through the whole process, Jason. Alright, let's get this ground back unhooked and get all these powers and grounds connected over here. Okay, so I still have a lot of electrical to figure out on this thing, but everything that I know is a ground, I have grounded. Everything I know needs ignition power or 12 volt power, I have connected. I'm gonna hit the key, turn the key to on, and see if the fuel pump turns on. That's step one. See if we can get fuel coming to the engine. All right, I got some clicks and beeps. No fuel pressure though. Let's see if it'll crank when I twist the key. No. Nope. Okay, so we got more figuring out to do. Let's see if I can just manually trigger the fuel pump. No, I cannot. Interesting, because the fuel pump worked before. The old fuel pump worked before I replaced it. Now it doesn't. I haven't changed any of the fuel pump wiring between here and the pump. So why wouldn't it come on? Did I forget to plug it in back there? I think so. Better check. Everything's plugged in at the back. Why won't this be? Well, I guess I'll check the access panel that the previous owner cut in the trunk floor for me. Asshole! I'll try to jump it from there and see if I can get the fuel pump to turn. So I popped open the hole in the trunk that the previous owners left there for me and found some of the wires chafed for the fuel pump. I fixed those wires and I think that'll make the fuel pump work now. Let's see if it'll work off the key first. Sounds like it is. Oh well, it did something. It primed. But I've got no pressure in the gauge. Okay, yeah, it's priming, but I've got leaks. I can hear the leaks. It's dripping on the floor. So I've got a leak in here. Oh yeah, it looks like I'm leaking over here on the driver's side. Passenger side looks okay. The driver's side is definitely wet. So, alright, let's pop that fuel rail off and figure out what's going on. Alright, so it looked like the 3 farthest rearward injectors on the driver's side were the ones that were leaking. The O-rings look fine. Definitely a nice snug fit into the rail. Yeah, these O-rings all look fine to me. I don't see any issues here. There's nothing obvious. Oh, everything looks good. Nothing wrong with the rail. Rail looks okay. Huh. Maybe something just wasn't seated all the way down. Weird. Yeah, I mean, these look fine to me. We'll put it back together. All right, well, let's see if that fixed it. Alright, that seems to have fixed it. Huh. I mean, I literally didn't do anything but take it off and put it back together. But that seems to have stopped the leak. So, okay. Maybe the O-rings just weren't quite all the way down like where they needed to be, or something. Don't know. Take it apart, put it together. Take it apart, put it together. Take it apart, put it together. One issue resolved. Yeah, she's going. I think I am going to have to adjust the pressure regulator some, but at least the fuel pump is working now. Now, on to the next issue. Why doesn't it want to crank? Alright, boys and girls, well, I'm calling it for the night. I cannot figure out why this thing doesn't want to crank via the key. I checked a bunch of stuff. I realized I had not removed the automatic transmission and the park neutral safety switch from the PCM, so I went back in. I took that off of the PCM on my bench harness. Still nothing. I've checked my power and ground sources to and from the starter relay. I have good power coming into the starter relay, but I do not have, I don't have signal or anything really coming to the control side of the starter relay. If you have any ideas of what to check, please let me know. But I'm still trying to figure this thing out. I'm suspicious maybe there's some kind of security protocol or something that I haven't gotten rid of that I may need to. But I know I've taken all the security out of the PCM. I don't know if there's security built into the car in the gauge cluster or the ignition switch that I need to get rid of. So that could be the issue. I have to do more research. I have to do more looking and schematic reading to figure out what I'm missing, what I need to get sorted out on this thing so it'll start and run like it should. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's actually a couple days later now. All right, team. Well, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but for sake of being real and being honest, I'm going to show you what I had going on here. So, when I had been trying to crank the engine before, I had not had the clutch pedal depressed. And it just didn't occur to me, clutch pedal needs to be pushed in order for the engine to crank in a manual transmission car. It's called the clutch pedal safety switch for a reason. So, when I hadn't had that depressed, I had started testing other things. And I started tracing out wires that I could get access to. And right here is the connector to the starter exciter wire. And it just unplugs here. This side is attached to the car, this side was attached to that harness that I carried over. Well, I had unplugged that and jumped positive to it to make sure I didn't have any issues from here down to the engine, and I didn't. Well, what I forgot to do was plug that back in. So all of this other stuff I've been testing and tracing out and doing, I'm pretty sure what my issue was first I didn't have the clutch pedal pushed down. Then I had the clutch pedal pushed down, but didn't have this wire plugged in. And as soon as I tried to start it with that wire plugged in and the clutch pedal pressed, it cranked. So, for lack of a better way to say it, thinking something was complex when it was actually just really simple. But anyway, it cranks by the key now. Let me show you. Boom. All right, everybody. I think this thing is ready to go. It's filled up with fluids. I've checked and double checked. I've got power in all the places I should have it. I've got all my grounds hooked up. Obviously, I figured out why it wasn't cranking, so it cranks off the key now. I think it should start. Hopefully it does. I'll run it for a couple seconds. I want to see if the oil pressure gauge works. and then I'm gonna shut it off because the wires are still a mess and I don't want anything to get against something hot or rub or anything like that. So yeah, let's try it. Yeah! Whew. Paint baking off the headers, but it starts! I had no throttle, but I also just realized I also didn't have power or ground provided to the TAC module. So that's probably why I didn't have any throttle. But it started in idle. Yes! Man, we finally got this thing to make some noise. Yes! All right, everybody. Well, I'm calling it for this video. A successful test fire. You know, had to do some troubleshooting. A good portion of which was just troubleshooting my own shenanigans, for lack of a better way to say it. But we've got it figured out. It starts off the key. It runs off the key. The fuel pump works off the key, just like it should. So next steps are get the wire harness back out, get it all tidied up, loomed up, and then put back in the way I want it to be long term. And then I'll sort out and get all the little gauges and odds and ends working and get the throttle pedal put in. But that stuff is all boring and you don't need to see it. So when I bring you back next, hopefully we'll be doing something more fun with this car. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. And until the next time, take care.